Good evening, fellow ghouls and specters alike. It's your ghost host with the most tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5, here to engage in some haunted holiday hijinks by trudging through the catacombs and dusting off the cobwebs as we recount our spooky selection of Halloween classics.
So light the jack-o'-lantern, suit up, and grab the candy dish as we revive and recount tonight's spooky selection. Buzz Lightyear Star Command, Haunted Moon. And if the band you're in starts playing different tunes, I'll see you on the dark side of the moon.
No la, no one. No la, no one.
Space Ghost, coast to coast.
No la, no one.
All right. Okay, Dragon. This we've been doing Buzz Lightyear Star Command episodes for a couple of years now, right? You want to refresh my memory on the ones we've done so far?
Yes, we've covered the major ones. Basically, Nose 4A2 is kind of the big stamp of kind of the horror icons of of Buzz Lightyear Star Command, the Energy Vampire. You got a lot of mileage out of the old Energy Vampires. We covered the first Nose 4A2 episode. We covered covered that. We've covered most of the Nose for A2 episodes. We covered the Wire Wolf, which kind of ties into that because basically we get like a big kind of like three-way monster battle by the end of things. So we covered the finale of that. We've covered the origin of the Wire Wolf and the first Nose for A2. Any beyond that, we may have covered an additional Nose for A2. We covered three of the major ones.
All right, so this is kind of a little bit more of an obscure one, Dragon. This is kind of off the beaten path of the classic monster movies. We're going into kind of some of the more metaphysical elements of terror, specifically ghosts. And I gotta say, Dragon, I really, really enjoyed this episode. I'm not the biggest fan of Buzz Lightyear Star Command. You're certainly a bigger fan of it than I am. I do think for me the biggest sell of the show is the fact that the show exists in the Toy Story universe. It's like one of the first bits of meta narrative that I got as a kid. Like, little 10-year-old Tiki sitting there like, oh my God, the toys are watching this VHS that I'm about to watch. Isn't that neat? Of course, Dragon, you and I have a little bit of a pet theory that Al Wiggins is the voice of Zurg on this show.
Well, it's kind of an offhanded gag, but you could always make it that. That could always have happened.
Dragon, I gotta say, this episode does a really good job of kind of showcasing the likable qualities of the show. It's got a really upbeat tone to it, in spite of the fact that it's got some dark elements as well. It does. There are some spooky moments to it, but by the same token, I feel like it very much exemplifies kind of like that Buck Rogers style Saturday morning cartoon vibe that the show was going for. This episode does have a really good sense of adventure and sense of pace to it. And I got to tell you, I did get a little swept up in it. It is pretty exciting. It's a good mystery and a pretty compelling space adventure by the same point. So I really, really like this one, Dragon.
All right. Yeah, of course, I'm the huge Buzz Lightyear Star Command fan. We already went through that. I grew up with this thing. I love the pieces. Of course, we had honestly some of Disney's finest shows were all kind of led by the showrunners on Kim Possible. You had them doing Kim Possible in this, and again, just two large elements of my childhood right there. I'd say I was utterly swept up in this show, man. I've always remembered this episode too. I have one pet peeve with this episode, which we'll get to. It's not a bad thing. It's just like it's still a great episode. There's this one question every time I revisit. I was hesitant to come back to this one because of that pet peeve. But I was hesitant to basically cover it here because we had this, or we had another really good Nose for A2 episode. Nose for A2 just rocks. I mean, forgive me for saying let's do another Nose for A2 episode, but I gotta tell you, he's really cool. He is. It's Craig Ferguson, Roddy McStew from Freakazoid doing a really awesome vampire voice. It rocks.
But at the end of the day, considering that we started with the Haunted Mansion, and we've only got a couple more to go, and let's just say the last selection, the season finale, is going to involve ghosts in some way.
That it will. That it will.
So this did feel like the more appropriate selection given the overall theme of the season.
And this is always, again, I remember a lot of, I don't want to toot my own horn here because I hate being, self-important, but, I do know these episodes like the back of my hand. This one was one of those episodes, like, again, with all the horror ones and all the scary ones and all, like, the vaguely spooky ones. It's kind of the most Scooby-Doo of the Buzz Lightyear Star Command episodes.
I can see that, yeah.
At least, and it's a good one. There's a lot of really cool stuff.
Like I said, I admire that this episode is pretty lighthearted and still has some spooky moments to go along with it. It's a good balance.
Yeah. All right, without further ado, let's dive right in. Let's blast off.
All right. So we start with a. Okay, you set the stage on this mission, Dragon. You can probably set the stage for it better than I can.
So we have the Comet Duster crew. So if anyone's seen the movie Armageddon, it's pretty much the same deal. All right.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, Dragon, the stakes for this episode are set pretty high right from the very beginning. You've got this crew doing this life or death mission.
Mm-hmm. I tell you, man, that's why I love Buzz Lightyear Star Command, and they don't do it halfway on this show, man. I love it. So we have the Comet Duster. They have the Comet Duster crew. They're working on a ship, but essentially this ship is going to take kind of an antimatter engine. Essentially, it's going to take it to antimatter thruster. It's going to take an antimatter thruster and attach it to a comet, so it will be set off course, so it won't smash into a planet and destroy all life on it.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty high stakes. However, the Comet Duster crew, they're all wigged out as they're facing a literal deadline, which is never good because, literally, if they miss their deadline, people are going to be dead, and from something that's going in a straight line. So deadline, all senses of the word here. Of course, we have the leader voiced by Ron Perlman. It's so funny you name dropped Ron Perlman recently, and here he shows up.
Yeah. I was very pleasantly surprised to hear that voice. I was like, wait a minute, that sounds familiar.
There are three really great.
I gotta tell you, Dragon, that was one of those very gratifying Googles of like, that's not Ron Perlman, is it? It is.
There's actually three really great voices in this episode. We have Ron Perlman, we have Clancy Brown. The two of them are on the crew, and we'll save the third guy when we get to him.
Okay.
So let's see. So we try. So basically, Ron Perlman here, he plays the leader. So they don't really not all of them have names. Basically, they have our leader guy here. So the leader, who is Ron Perlman, he says he tries to calm the crew down. Says, "Yes, I know there have been accidents. It's dumb luck. Nothing's changed except the fact that comet there, it basically." Except the comet there is basically is going to lead to kind of an Armageddon situation. That's our job here. We got to stop this comet from hitting Verdentia, basically the peaceful planet of Verdentia, which will lead to a total life form annihilation, which obviously we want to prevent. So we can't be distracted by all this, all these wacky goings on here, guys. We got to stick to the mission.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, there's a good question of basically some of them are really wigged out at the point where they're again. I love that there's you have some sympathy for these guys because we see some. I love that we're kind of put in their shoes where we see how scary this thing looks at certain points. I mean, do you feel unsympathetic to these guys? Like they want to bail, but again, if they bail, if the Redemption.
No, I don't feel unsympathetic to these guys at all. It's a horrible position to be put into, Dragon. Yeah. It's like if you bail, then you're essentially bailing on an entire planet. But by the same token, if you don't get the job done, then you die yourself. It's a terrible situation. I do not feel bad. I do not feel like they're unsympathetic at all. I feel like they're very sympathetic.
So these guys, they go back to work, and one of my favorite elements of this episode, especially looking back on it, I love the angles. I love there's something very John Carpenter-esque about how this is shot, where we build up the reveal of the thing, of the threat. And I love how we see it from behind, creeping behind him, and we see just kind of we have these low angles. I just love that the angles we're doing for all this. It looks really good. It's good cinematography, let's call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have the welders. We have a little subtle helmet effect. I love when the welders are welding, the helmets go from clear to dark. It's like a little detail you never see. And if any show is going to show that detail, it should be Buzz Lightyear Star Command. All right, so they're welding, but then the welding gear begins to float away. And I know they're in space, but it didn't do that before. It's floating away and then freezes and just smashes on the ground. So really building excellent atmosphere already. Our panic man, one of our panic crewmen, here he says, "Not again." He flees, and as he flees, he runs the camera. And again, I love that we don't see this thing. He runs the camera, and then he's frozen before our eyes.
And Dragon, you know what this reminds me of, right?
What does this remind you of?
Magic School Bus. Arnold, no!
God.
But seriously, the Dragon, I feel like the whole thing of like, so like you have a similar fear to me, Dragon, of like the whole disattached limbs and stuff like that. But one of my big fears is like basically like losing a limb through the limb freezing and then shattering.
Well, that definitely piggybacks, but my fear in general is just pretty much anything limb removal, even no matter how small, just any
right,
removal.
Right. So, oh yeah, and I feel like this episode definitely doesn't shy away from that type of imagery.
Yes. Well, thankfully, no one loses a limb here. I just want to make that clear. No one's losing any limbs here.
No. But I'm just saying the whole like the freezing and then shattering thing of it all.
Well, he doesn't shatter, Tiki. He's alive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're all fine. They're frozen solid. Maybe they thaw them out when they get to them.
Gotcha.
I hear you though. It's definitely entirely possible that could have happened. I mean, that's if something bad happened to them, like one thing hit them, and they would be goners. Anywho, so then we transition. Really solid transition. I love. Here's the really cool thing. We transition from the frozen guy to Buzz Lightyear again, one astronaut to another.
Yep.
Or Space Ranger, one could say. So we transition to Buzz Lightyear and the gang, Buzz and the rest of the Rangers here. They're responding to a distress beacon that was placed. However, the place is absolutely deserted. I forget if they're on a moon or something, because the place doesn't seem like a planet. But then again, planets.
Well, I mean, don't they have to be on a moon considering the namesake? I always assume that they were on a moon.
I don't know why I put it to conjecture, because you're absolutely right. Why did I question if it was a moon? You're right. Yes. Sorry, a little slippage there of logic. Sorry, folks. Anyway. Sorry. Okay. Point being, Mira's here. She's asking what she wonders what the project is. Like, what are the guys doing on this moon?
Uh-huh.
So basically, Buzz exposits for the kids out there, like, what the heck are these guys? Okay, they're comet dusters. Part of the comet dusting crew. They're going to fly up. They're going to deliver this antimatter thruster to the comet, which will change the comet's trajectory, saving them. And we have this really awesome Patrick Warburton. There should be like a counter for all the nice things we say. We constantly praise Patrick Warburton on this channel. We do.
Well done, pal.
Yep, and yet again, of course, Patrick Warburton, one of the great roles I know him from, the other voice of Buzz Lightyear, which to me there's only two. I know there's Pat Fraley, but Pat Fraley, let's be honest, he's when you're in a bind. Nothing against Pat Fraley personally, but I'm saying when there are two voices of Buzz Lightyear, it's
what
Tim
I like
Allen.
about Warburton's Buzz Lightyear is that he's not trying to be Tim Allen by any stretch.
Exactly, but he feels absolutely like Buzz Lightyear, though. That's the cool thing. It's just
he feels like a Buzz Lightyear.
Certainly.
He doesn't feel like the Toy Story Buzz Lightyear, but he's not the Toy Story Buzz Lightyear.
But again, he does lay out kind of the Buck Rogers sort of like, this is Buzz Lightyear, the hero, and then we have the toy being the adaptation, the adaptation of that, and it feels very much they're all pulling from the same source. Therefore, it feels there's like a direct line of logic there that works.
Yeah, totally.
So of course, Patrick Warburton, I love he has some really great heroic. I love when he gets all heroic as Buzz Lightyear. I love when he has this great line here. It says, basically says there's no Mira sees like a few of the wires are frozen, as in it looks like this thing might be in jeopardy. I don't know if they're going to complete this mission. What's Plan B? That frozen ball is on a collision course with the peace-loving citizens of Verdentia. Plan A better work. I love when he says Plan A better work. Like, yeah, that's cool. That's Buzz Lightyear, man. Yes. All right, so let's see. So So XR and Booster, Booster's asking, I wonder where the crew's disappeared to. We have a little jump scare bit where they look into a window and we see the crew. Ah! Found them. All right, so basically, we the crewman. So there, this is the same guy who got frozen. He's fine right now. See,
Uh-huh.
so the crewman is in shock, and he's the one saying because he had the encounter. He's saying no law, no one,
No
no
law,
law,
no
no
one.
one. He's just been saying that since his encounter, and Booster is very afraid during all of this. By the way, of course, as Booster tends to be, kind
I
of
gotta
Steve.
tell you, Dragon Booster is probably my least favorite character in the show.
Real, I think if you watch, I don't know. I think if you watch more episodes, you'd grow.
I don't think he adds a lot beyond just like, oh, look at the silly, like oversized comic relief character who's actually scared of things.
Yeah, fair enough. I'd say give it more time, but
Maybe.
Anywho, so in other words, basically, I'd like to think you'd give him more time, but on the other hand, I could make it easy by saying you'd be in the jingle all the way headspace. No one likes you, Booster.
Oh God, yes.
You're kind of taking the Sinbad approach right now. I wouldn't go as far, but anyway. So, point of Booster's very very afraid. To be fair, it's a ghost. I mean. So Buzz laughs off this ghost thing, and I love this. I completely forgot how brilliant this bit was until the rewatch here. Buzz laughs. Okay, you guys don't actually believe, and you have this stern look of everyone in complete dead seriousness of yes, we're very afraid of this ghost, and we have this great bit where I think it's Clancy Brown saying, if it's Perlman or Clancy Brown, someone's saying, how many can you fit on your ship? And it's like, oh my god.
It's just like the act of desperation. And like I said, Dragon, I feel for them, man. It's like, not only are they in a life or death situation with the mission as it is, but now we're dealing with ghosts who can freeze you? No, thank you, man. Every man for himself. I'd be in self-preservation mode. I'm sorry if that makes me a terrible person, but...
And again, Tiki, what's so remarkable is all of that from the cold open.
Yeah.
So of course,
Dragon, I gotta go grab a Red Bull really quick. All right, I'll be back in like 30 seconds. Okay.
All right.
Of
course, the other great Buzz Lightyear line here is "Whoa, fella, you have a planet to save." Just he's not taking a guff. Okay, guys, hey, whoa, no, you're not abandoning Verdentia. That's awesome, Buzz Lightyear sticking to these things. We gotta save this whole planet. You guys can't cop out on the mission. I don't want to hear any of this quitter talk. It's just great. So let's see. So Buzz, of course, basically Buzz is trying to put the crew's mind. He's saying, get back to the job. Here's okay, look. When this saboteur, who is not a ghost, shows up, my Rangers and I can handle him. Of course, Booster during this time, la 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 la. Booster is not instilling them with all the confidence in the room at the moment here, but again, the gesture withstands. So,
all right, I'm back.
All right, so now, after Buzz is basically Buzz is offered to run security for these guys to put their minds at ease. So as this is going on, things are running smoothly as they see, okay, Space Rangers are here. We're safe from ghosts or whatever the saboteur.
Buzz, Lightyear, I think you're right about the ghost thing. I think it was just a bunch of hooey.
Exactly.
He doesn't actually say that, but
Point being, he's thanking Buzz and the company for being there. He's the point is you're giving us a lot. We feel at ease with you guys here. And of course, as they're saying this again, there's that framing again. We have invisible footprints in the background. Oh boy, it's something's about to happen. Something's about to go down. Meanwhile, inside the bunker, basically a little kind of chilling area for all our guys here in the bunker. Booster and XR, which again is many a times a lot of the heart of the shows. Booster and XR, they kind of started this grand venture in a sense. It's always great to have these two get a little conversation here. They're in the bunker, just having this kind of this existential conversation. There's powered up or down. That's it.
God.
Basically, XR saying there's XR saying there's no ghost descent. There's no room in between dead and alive here by saying you're either powered up or down. That's it. Your battery's charged or it's dead.
Has no mortality fluidity.
No, he doesn't.
He's not mortal fluid.
Booster's raising the point to XR's battery thing. Batteries are charged or they're dead. Well, you can recharge a battery. You're not big on analogies, are you? All right, so then we set up the ambiance here. Here's we have this next sighting here. It's no law, no one. We're hearing no law, no one.
By the way, what do you think of the voice? I know you want to build to who the voice actor is, but what do you think of the actual no law, no one voice? To me, I got to tell you, it kind of is a little bit reminiscent of Paul Frees with the dead men tell no tales and that kind of stuff.
I've always loved it. I gotta tell you again, it just sounds so silly and so like niche and nostalgic. But I tell you, man, of all these episodes, I remember the when I think of this episode, I do think of No Law, No One. So I've never forgotten
I
this.
think for good reason. It's a really good soundbite.
It is. It's just great. No Law, No One. Of course, for the very simple reveal of what No Law, No One is, how can you forget it? So we hear No Law, No One. Then we have the wind, and it's just what's with the winds? Is there is no wind. See, now there's some wind. Of course, like now, see now there's wind inside, and he's very visible. There's basically he's like writing it off as like, oh, it's the wind that's making that noise. Well, but there isn't any wind. Now there's wind.
Why is there wind inside? Essentially.
Yep. What happens indoors? So then the door is now locked, and then we have XR just playing the great Neil Flynn, the voice acting titan here. Neil Flynn says like, "Nice ghost, you want to let us out? Nice ghost, let us out." So then the door opens. Seemingly his sweet talk has worked here, but then we see the cold fog. Now the cold fog appears.
Yeah,
taking a little cue from King Ramses, apparently.
I gotta tell you, Dragon, I think fog is a really effective way to symbolize ghosts because it's like it's not quite physical, but it's still tangible.
I would absolutely agree. Bear in mind, I grew up with Phantasm, but yes, I absolutely agree.
All right, so Booster and XR basically make like Shaggy and Scooby and jump right into Buzz's arms.
Well, not even that. This is funny. I would love to think it's a subtle reference, but I love this. So we have the Scooby-Doo jump on Buzz's helmet.
On his helmet, right.
Which
yeah.
is exactly what Woody did in Toy Story, by the way. When he saw the cannibal toys, he ran up and he's like just goes like he was shaking on Buzz's head, and it's people climb on helmets. So the fact they're climbing on his helmet, we have this beautiful delivery by Warbird here. Says, "May I help you?" I just love how annoyed he is. It's like, "May I help you?" So they tell Buzz they saw a ghost, and of course, as they mentioned, we saw a ghost. Now the wigged out crew is now taking notice. Well, what did he say? And then we have this. This is just great. This is so funny. It's just toast. He said this ranger won.
Ghost stories. I thought you said toast stories.
You gotta admit, how ironic is that? We get through that, and then we
that's a great callback, man. It's a great like unintentional callback.
Toast. Yeah. This ranger wants some toast. I'm gonna
bloopity.
You guys go back to work. I'm gonna rustle up this ranger some toast. So now we're in the Scooby-Doo element of all here. Buzz is he's kind of the skeptical Fred of the group here, saying there's no ghosts. We're gonna scout the place out. Mira addresses Mira. I love how Nicole Sullivan, just one of the Nicole Sullivan, one of my all-time favorite voice actors. Of course, Shigo from Kim Possible. The Shigo and Mira were always my go-to voices for, and I always love it. She's the open-minded one of the group here. She's always this great comedic potential for Mira here. She's a very can-do, has a very can-do attitude, but also is like throwing herself into an unsure situation here, where it's like she's addressing the ghost's demand. She has no idea what she's asking here, but it's like, hello, ghost. Anyone there? Do you have any demands? Like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So let's see. Okay, we're going to give the place a once-over, and then, of course, they're being tracked by the fog behind them. Again, it's very strategic fog.
Spooky.
As this is going on, the fog really gets around.
Reagan, if you ever go to a Halloween haunt event, which I'm sure you won't, you're going to get bombarded with fog. That is like the theme park haunts like ace up their sleeve.
Is it talking fog?
No.
If it was talking fog, I'd be terrified.
You'd still be terrified. Trust me.
Sure. Well, I know. Fine, I know. I would. Honestly, if it were fog alone, that could talk. They built in like small speakers into the fog that you couldn't see.
God.
That's what I'm talking about.
No, but I mean, there are just like scare actors with really good makeup just stalking you at every turn, wanting to scare you. So there's that factor.
Aren't they ever afraid someone's going to? Well, no, I guess people know what they're walking into. Never mind. I was going to say, like, you ever hear about the unfortunate accidents in these haunted things? You ever hear like a guy, like a a participant attacked like the crew guy by accident because he thought it was
it happens. It happens. It's not a common occurrence, but it's not. Anyways, we could do a whole podcast on this kind of stuff.
We could. Let's getting back on point. So anyway, they're giving the place of 1 silver. Meanwhile, the crew outside, they have another encounter of the fog kind. The fog wigs out the crew. The leader, I love this. The leader again, the Ron Perlman leader, he's giving his all here. So like, okay,
man, he's really just kind of like just going all in on it. Like, you will not let us, you will not stop us from finishing this mission.
Leave us be. And then the ghost breaks the equipment. Ghost completely breaks the equipment and then freezes the defiant leader. It's like, oh man, this ghost means business. So this is it for the crew. Okay, he was our voice of reason. He's frozen now. We got to unfreeze him. We got to get the heck out of here. So the crew evacuate, and of course, how do they evacuate, Tiki?
Via the Star Cruiser.
They take 42, man. Of course, like, can you fly it? I can fly a fishbowl if it means getting out of here. That guy went on the plane.
I will say that stealing the Star Cruiser is that's probably the one low blow I will give these guys.
Yeah, but again, they're operating out of fear. It's not right, but Anyway, so the Rangers, they discover that they hear a rumbling. Is it a ghost? No, it's not the ghost. It's something worse. They took the ship, and I love that Buzz is very attached to his ship, by the way, because they stole 42. It's like, they took the ship. So let's see. So they're trying to communicate with the ship and probably give them a piece of their mind, but the signal's jammed. They can't call for help and they can't contact the ship. So they're on their own. And of course, the mission they have to save Rodentia. They have to finish the job for these guys. Mm-hmm. Again, it's a good thing they're very handy. Otherwise, they'd be very stuck if they had no idea how to build this thing.
You know what this called for, Dragon?
What is this called for?
It calls for a montage, a mini montage.
Yeah. All right. So, where's Vince Gilligan when you need him?
Oh, wait, no. I'm sorry. I'm skipping ahead a little bit.
Yes, you are. But anyway, point being, our guys have to, the team has to now save Rodentia, but the ghost, and Mira suggests, let's figure out what the ghost wants. Well, he wants to screw up the mission. Of course, Mira then is smartly. And again, Mira has good instincts, man. Again, Mira and the rest of the gang outside of Buzz, they're all rookies. So, very much like this is very much kind of their becoming of good Rangers is the grand kind of whole of the series, I guess. So, she's saying, well, we don't know that for sure. And obviously, later on in the episode, we find out she's absolutely right. That's kind of nice. Mm-hmm. So, Buzz very sarcastically says, let's ask. Hello, Mr. Ghost. What are you?
Warburton, where it's like he's giving it his all. He's not trying to be Tim Allen, but he's still got that like Buck Rogers cadence to him.
I tell you what's really funny. Many a time in the series, Buzz Lightyear, when he loses his cool, it's so hysterically funny to me. Buzz Lightyear apparently, I forget if it was an ex-girlfriend or an ex-wife. He goes in this rant once in the series where basically Buzz Lightyear. He had a girlfriend or an ex-wife who basically cheated on him with a tennis instructor, and it was the most hysterical rant ever. It's so funny.
Poor Buzz, jeez.
Yes, it's hysterical.
Who knew that Buzz Lightyear would have relationship issues?
That's what I'm saying, and it's just hysterical. Basically, Booster had a crush on a girl, and basically Buzz gave him some advice, but then that heartfelt advice turned to like a mini rant about his own relationship troubles. And basically, it gets really dark too. It just really does. Or basically, like,
oh wow, I would have looked that up. Jesus,
like grabs Booster by the collar. It's just, you know what "want to be friends" means, Booster? It means loser. Basically, what he does, he goes the full Mrs. Nesbitt on him. But
oh god. Okay, anyway. that sounds delightful.
God, anyway, sorry, I'm getting off track. I'm getting back on point. Buzz Lightyear is having like some fun. Like when Buzz Lightyear gets attitude, it's funny. It says, "What do you want?" And Booster has this great line, Ridley. Don't tease it. So let's see. So then we hear a scratching noise. So again, obviously Buzz has antagonized the ghost, which then at least we think he's antagonized the ghost. We go outside and we see "No law, no one" written all over the place. Mm-hmm. Outside the bunker, Mira thinks it's a message. She tries to decipher it, and we have some Mira comedy here. Mira she's trying to come up with something where obviously it's not going anywhere until she then throws out, maybe it's "no one alone." That's no law, no one backwards. Not a
Yeah,
bad
I mean,
idea.
she gets it pretty quickly after a couple guesses.
I love the logic, and love the logic of why would it be backwards? Well, he's on the other side, isn't he? Ah. All right, let's see. So, okay, basically now we have like calling Vince Gilligan, folks, calling Skip McDonald
We
and
need a
Vince Gilligan.
montage
Bow, bow,
to
bow.
show a lot of things getting done in a short amount of time. We need a montage.
Montage,
Montage.
montage. Okay, anyway. So, point is, through a montage, we see the Rangers. They're fixing the Comet Duster without any tools, and they make do. You know, how are we supposed to do this without any tools? We'll make do. They're Rangers. So we see XR kind of taking on the welding thing. Well, kind of basically, XR is kind of a barrel of tricks. He's got all sorts of. He's kind of a Swiss Army knife of a robot. Mira, basically she can go inside the thing by using her Tangi and phasing powers, and she can see the blueprints. So they don't have to they don't have to waste a lot of time by like unscrewing things. It's like maneuvering through the whole thing, so that's good.
Mhm.
Buzz is combining a number of the broken tool parts to create essentially an energy disruptor. Now, this energy disruptor is for the ghost because he's figuring it's the anti. Basically,
I
using
really love this gadget. We'll get there when we get there.
oh yes. So basically, he needs an antimatter battery to make this thing work. So basically, if the ghost tries to interfere again, which we know at least the ghost, whether it's real or not, whoever this is, it's interfering, and the energy would at least with this fog thing would disrupt it. And of course, they need a battery, and the battery's on 42. If only they had another. If only the well, okay, I'll say that they have XR. Had 9 months in that pause, man. Anyway, so okay. Point being, XR has a battery, and there's always this is gonna sound silly. This always struck a chord with me, man. I love this. It's as a kid, especially. It's like XR is really trepidatious about doing this, where XR has to sacrifice his power source to save the day here.
This is gonna sound silly, but it was kind of Bluthian to me.
A little, yeah. That's the thing. It's like you're gonna have to turn me off if I give
That's
you
kind of
that.
what I'm talking about with this episode, Dragon, is that like something that's like just a small bit like that does have a little bit of pathos to it.
Yeah, and of course there's a little bit of comedy in there too. Where like I only forget. Well, yeah, what if you forget to turn me on again? Whereas it's like Mir says, "Oh, I only forgot that one time."
Uh-huh.
So yeah, Buzz gives a little pep talk here. Look, Ranger, we all have something to offer, and this time it's something inside of you. It's a little bit of a sad bit where XR says, "All right, fine." I think the bit where he removes the his little antimatter power cell there. It's like, oh man, it's like XR. He's taking one for the team, man. It means something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting sentimental in my old age. I don't know. Anyway, so then Buzz flies solo because there's only one seat in the thing. So he's flying solo, and then the ghost strikes, and now the ghost tries to stop Buzz, trying to hold him back before he can blast off here. And then we have this awesome save with the disruptor. It's very cool. Like stops the ghost, a little makeshift gadget for the win. All right. So then we have a lot of the spectacle. You want to take us through some of the spectacle?
Push the red button. The red button. Yeah, I'm trying to get to where we are in my notes. I'm not knocking you for it. It's just you're going pretty fast through this. All right. Okay, so he goes into the bowels of the comet, Dragon. He goes into, and I think this is neat, Dragon. Just visually, you rarely see this. The whole idea that the blue streak of a comet is made up of a bunch of different smaller rocks,
Yeah, like little asteroid.
like that's a really cool kind of visual design that you don't often see.
Yeah, because so rarely do we ever chase a comet.
Right.
We have this asteroid debris field. Looks really cool. I love it. We get the little shot at we see hot shot Buzz Lightyear. Basically, he's getting a real kick out of like maneuvering through all this. It's really fun. Of course, he's targeting the comet, and of course, this is very important. We see for a fact Buzz can't do this alone. That's going to be very important. Where again, he has to lock on the comet and basically launch the thing. But again, you have to stay focused on one thing while you're also trying to avoid all the asteroids. That's the trick.
Right.
And unfortunately, he can't lock on before he gets hit by an asteroid. It basically gets hit by an asteroid, and then honestly, the ship blows up. Like, oh no, again, if his name wasn't in the title of the show.
Okay, Dragon. Yeah, this this is definitely like a. I mean, if you were a kid and you saw this, you'd just be like, "Oh man, like that is a cliffhanger to end all cliffhangers."
Oh yeah, I tell you, man, one of the. I don't know, but we're moving at a brisk pace. I'm just bringing one mini tangent, if I may.
Go ahead.
There's one episode, I think one of the best cliffhangers ever in Buzz Lightyear Star Command. I think it was the end of the episode. I forget if it was. The point is, like, it was a giant cliffhanger either before a commercial break. I want to say it was the end of the episode because it was one of the rare two-parters they did in the show. It was you had an evil Buzz Lightyear. They did like evil. Basically, I don't know if it was a little inspired by Toy Story 2 because that Buzz Lightyear wasn't evil. He was deluded. So, but it's very Star Trek based. It's like evil Kirk, evil Spock. Basically give him a goatee. It was a Buzz Lightyear with a goatee, literally. That's what it was.
Oh,
it was
no.
awesome.
Oh god.
Seriously, it was like Evil Buzz was an awesome story when they did. He only had like 2 episodes, but my point is, Evil Buzz. He showed them. They had no idea it was Evil Buzz. It's like, hey, look, it's Buzz. He's going to save the day, and he ends up blowing up Star Command. That was your cliffhanger.
Oh jeez.
I know. It's just it was just twisted, man. And so there's there's your cliffhanger for you. They would go big at moments like this.
All right, yeah, fair enough. I don't see how you could beat that.
Yeah, it's like Buzz, like with this giant bazooka, essentially, he just blasts. Oh god. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting back on point. Yes, cliffhanger. It seems like Buzz is toast, ghost toast, one might say.
Space toast, coast to toast.
Yes, man. Where's powdered toast, man, when you need him? Anywho, so then we reveal Buzz is alive, but he's in an asteroid field with the ghost, and the ghost shows up, and that's not good.
Yep.
Where's Buzz saying, "You're not real. You're not real." And basically, I love this. He basically flies through to prove that he's not real. Told ya. And
told you so.
So then the ghost, essentially, the ghost is seemingly attacks Buzz, but when in reality, what he's doing is he's pointing Buzz in the direction of an old ship.
Uh-huh.
Now he uses Buzz. He basically flies to this ship, and the ship is very frozen because again, it's kind of it's a really cold comet. So basically, anything in the trajectory of this comet is going to be kind of frozen. So, well, it's also that, of course, for the other, like the haunting of it all. That's why it's frozen too. But point being, he used like the low level on his laser. I love that little detail. He can use like the lower level on his laser to thaw things. I love that detail. So like he thaws like the little latch on the ship. He enters we enter the cockpit, this cold cockpit, and he finds essentially the pilot, who essentially he assumes is a corpse. And I love how Buzz is basically Buzz trying to fly the ship, and he goes for like the throttle, and he holds the throttle, and he finds a hand there. Ugh! He just thinks it's a corpse.
Wicky icky.
Just great. So then he thaws the hands, like, excuse me, just gotta move your hand there. Just thaws the hand, and we have this excellent jump scare. Then the hand grabs him. That's awesome. Oh god, you're still alive. And he thaws him out. And stop thawing me. Just the ice. So then we meet
the ice, you numbskull, not me.
So then we meet Wild Bill Cooley, of course, played by Charles Napier. Now, Charles Napier, you've probably heard this voice before. He's gotten the rim. I think the thing everybody knows Charles Napier for is Silence of the Lambs.
Oh yes,
he was the guard that Hannibal Lecter killed in Silence of the Lambs, like the one that I'm pretty sure he was the one who, not Pepper, but the other guy, the guy who basically was like turned into a tableau. The guy was like, he cut the one that he ate, and the one was like as he was being beaten by the club. That guy. Point being, Charles Napier's cool, but apparently people have forgotten that. Anyway, so sorry, getting back on point here. So he has a very Rocketeer look. Did you notice that? It looks like he's wearing like it looks very old Buck Rogers kind of meets.
Yeah. I definitely love his design, the exaggerated chin and whatnot. I love the squinty eyes.
Yeah. So he tells Buzz that I know you, and I was just like you, trying to do what you're doing now. Hot dogging it by yourself. By your lonesome.
But you're wrong.
And essentially, he got frozen. He's been frozen for 50 years.
So he wasn't just frozen today.
No, he wasn't just frozen today. There's a Christopher Lloyd theme to tonight. I can just feel it in my bones right now. So this is great. This is love. Here's the thing. This is where we get my nitpick of the episode here, because this is great, and I still love the episode, but the lot we never fully explain how this is possible, and I don't need to know everything, but I need to
No, you're right. They do leave it pretty up in the air, Dragon. It's a little confusing.
like that's the thing. It's like that's why I love this episode. But
Honestly,
when you get to
I feel like it's kind of just like cartoon logic of like, oh, it's the other side of the moon, so it's going to be backwards on the other side of the moon. Just because cartoon logic, that's the best explanation I have for it, Dragon.
No. It's not the backwards. I'm fond of the backwards thing. It's the fact of like the whole. Okay, here's the thing. So I tried telling the construction guys, those construction monkeys, but it's it's a 2-man job. And the Buzz is very confident. I knew you weren't a ghost. No one alone. How hard is that? And he says, well, when you say it backwards. Backwards? Yeah, you were saying it backwards. No one can understand what you're saying. It was annoying.
Uh-huh.
You think this haunting stuff is easy? It took me 2 years to talk. So this is what I'm talking about. Okay, so it's not the backwards thing. It's the fact of like, how can he haunt someone, period? See, that's my problem with the episode. Like, how, it's all cool. I love this. But like, how is he's alive? How is he haunting him? And we're raising all these theological questions. I don't know how this works.
I mean, how do the my question is, how does the carvings on the side of the ship work?
That's what I'm saying. Like the whole, like he can project himself. He's all the cold stuff. Like, he's freezing. Yeah. He's doing all of this stuff, and apparently it's a thing that other characters can do by the end of it too. Like, how is he doing this?
Yeah, the show makes like I said, Dragon. It's cartoon logic. It's like.
It's like you're having a good time. You kind of look past it, though.
The moon, so therefore wacky powers.
Yeah, you kind of look past it though because you're having a good time. But when you really look at it, because I kept, is there like? The only logic is I guess he can learn to meditate and do this, but it still doesn't make sense.
Astral projection, perhaps.
Yeah, it's astral projection, all right. But it's like I don't know. See, that's the one frustration. It's a really good episode, but that's the frustration.
Like, I hear you. But it also kind of like takes all the punch out of the actual ghost stuff in the
That's
episode.
What I'm saying. That's why I was having to do this, because it's cool, but it's I still love it. It's just like anyway. I'm not angry. It's just frustrating. Like but you're so cool. Why can't they be alive?
Like kind of back to the positive stuff, though. I do really like this this dynamic with like the cocky rookie versus the seasoned veteran.
Yeah,
kind of having to help each other out in this time of crisis. It makes for a really fun climax to the episode.
So we see how the 2-man operation's supposed to go, where essentially one guy's flying and the other guy's working the arms to place the thruster, which it's kind of how they're doing things here. But they also have to be very lined up and very precise here, otherwise it's for naught. So they get the line up and they fire, and success. It lands on the asteroid, or it lands on the comet and avoids the planet by a hair. Awesome. Now it's up to Buzz to save their bacon from the asteroid field. Then we get some really cool hotshot moves by Buzz, and this is just a lot of fun here. That's some nice flying, kid. Like I said, no one alone. So Buzz returns, and it gives the introduction to Wild Bill, who was frozen, not dead. Basically getting like these kind of Fred licks in there.
On the not dead.
Basically getting his licks in there of like, yep, he's basically this Fred from Scooby-Doo licks here. No ghost, no monsters. I can't explain. What he's not saying is, I can't explain it either, but he's not a ghost.
Right, exactly. It's like he was astral projecting somehow, but, it's not technically an undead being, so...
So, of course, we have, like, the backward talk, and the fog appears again, and Wild Bill is like, well, don't look at me.
I like that, by the way. That was a cutesy moment.
And I love how Wild Bill can understand the backwards.
Yeah.
He says, whoever it is saying, turn them back on. They realize, oh, XR, we forgot. Let's just blame it on Buzz. And of course, we hear, like, X is breaking a little bit of the backwards talk here by what he's saying. Like, talking backwards is a real pain.
Yeah, well, they're breaking it for a joke. I forgive them.
No, it's fine. I'm just saying that's what they're doing here.
Yeah.
And that's the episode.
All right, good stuff. So, yeah, Dragon, I think you and me are pretty much simpatico on this, man. We are very much in alignment that this is it's a very good episode. It's got a great mix of kind of like, some genuinely good atmosphere mixed with some good humor. and also a solid kind of serialized adventure element to it. It's really got a lot going for it. Some good guest stars with Ron Perlman. But Dragon, yeah, like we said, the thing about the episode that does drag it down is like kind of like the lack of explanation for the weird astral projection stuff. It just kind of comes out of nowhere, and there's no real rhyme or reason for it happening except, ooh, space ghost, it's cool. So yeah, you know, it's definitely a fun episode. I enjoyed it a lot. It's got a lot of good merits to it. Not perhaps the most ironclad plot in the world, but you know, for a show that definitely emulates the Buck Rogers style, it doesn't necessarily have to be.
And real quick, we have a comment we should shout out.
All right. Yeah, so Little Blue says, talking about Buzz Lightyear, A Star Command, I see that the show was one of my childhood favorites. Yeah, first of all, welcome to the channel, Little Blue. If this is your first time, thanks for finding us. Pleasure to have you. It is definitely one of Dragon's childhood favorites as well.
That it is. So yeah, great episode. Fun haunted mystery. Again, it has all the trappings and everything. That's really cool. Again, like stylistically, we're doing a lot of fun stuff there. Again, we obviously have some laughs, but also the ambiance is really good. You know, like you're not like the stakes are absolutely there. You know, the scares are there as well. But again, lack of ghosts and explanation for how we can haunt people. Period. Bit of an issue, but again, an issue I think you can look past. But you know, it's when you really look at it, and you really try. When you look at it with a fine tooth comb, you can't help but notice it. But I mean, on the whole, though, again, it's another victory for Buzz Lightyear. It's another good episode for him. It's another good time, man. It's a nostalgic one to go to. Is it my favorite episode? No, but I'm not going to say it's not up there. I'm not going to say again. It's a winner, man. It's a good one.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, and also Little Blue is saying that you're forgetting the Wirewolf episodes. Dragon, would you like to inform them of the Wirewolf episodes that we did do already?
Rest assured, Little Blue, we did cover the Wirewolf episodes, as in like the whole Ty Parsec affair. So we covered when he turned the Wirewolf and the big kind of monster mash of like when we bring back the Wirewolf and Nose for A2 is he basically tries to manipulate the Wirewolf, and they do like the whole. You saw the episode, you know what happens. Point being, yes, we did that. We basically did those two. We did the first Nose for A2. I don't think we did the. I forget if we did like a return of Nose for A2 or not. I can't remember if we did that. Point being, we've done a number of the main ones. We always hesitate on XL because XL is kind of Frankenstein, but he's also just kind of the XR brother story. So. It's a bit of both. There's definitely, at the very least, if we ever go back to Buzz Lightyear Star Command, we're probably going to be doing another Nose for A2 episode unless we kind of pull the trigger on, let's do XL. Point being, we're going to do one of those episodes if we ever come back to it. But which hopefully, I want to say never because I'd love to come back to Buzz Lightyear Star Command. I love any excuse to talk about Buzz Lightyear Star Command. That's just me.
All right, folks, that ends tonight's spooky selection. And our spirits grow weary. But they'll be stronger than ever next time as we engage in even more haunted holiday hijinks.
Nola, no one. No.
Oh, I thought you meant Toast Stories.